Hey everybody, MichaelBtheGameGenie here, and after a brief absence, I'm back on YouTube, and in today's video, we're going to be talking all about the new Pinball FX, as we've got some new tables to discuss. Of course, we got World War Z, which is the first entry in the Paramount series, as well as a brand new Williams table, and more on the way. Also, we're going to be talking all about Sega, who have a brand new announcement coming out this week, which could lead to a new mini console. And the fun thing is, both of these announcements could have implications for Arcade1Up. I'm going to tell you more about it right after this. Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out the video today. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, do all that YouTube stuff, you know, like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell for notifications if you are so inclined. I want to take a minute to apologize. I know I haven't been making a lot of produced content or, you know, just videos in the last little while. I've done some live streaming, but that's about it. And I apologize, guys. My wife got admitted to hospital. It's been a bit of a rough week, and now she's out. Hopefully she's feeling a lot better and we can get back to a more regular schedule. Anyways, today let's start off talking about Pinball FX. In Zen Studios early last week held a new episode of The Pinball Show. So guys, if you're a big Pinball FX, Zen Pinball fan like myself, you probably checked out the Pinball Show last week where they had a really big announcement for Pinball FX on the Epic Game Store. We've got new titles coming out, including games in the Monsterverse, Godzilla, Kong, Godzilla vs. Kong, and all that cool shit. So that's very exciting, as well as they announced some massive updates to the new Pinball FX in early access. Mel Kirk himself from Zen Studios was on to update people on new features for Pinball FX, including upcoming tournament mode information, as well as one very big announcement that a lot of people like myself have been patiently waiting for, and that is cabinet mode for Pinball FX. If you are interested in checking out cabinet mode on Pinball FX and getting an update on everything that was discussed in the video, if you don't want to watch the Pinball Show, let me pass you over to our good friend Cool Toy, who did an excellent video showing the updates, as well as expressing his interest in cabinet mode and showing you guys how to set it up. He's even such a good guy, he even did some back glasses for the tables. So go check out Cool Toy and find out how to get the new Pinball FX working in cabinet mode. And all of that is very super cool. I haven't had a chance to talk about it a lot on my channel as of yet, but I've really been enjoying this first early access for Pinball FX. I love the way that the graphics are updated, the lighting effects are so much better, the pinball physics have been improved. Switching over to the Unreal Engine has definitely amped up my pinball experience playing on my computer, and I can't wait to see how these games perform in cabinet mode on my Legends pinball machine, which I use as my home virtual pinball machine coming from my PC. I think these tables are fantastic, and I can't wait to see what new games have been added. So the first game I want to talk about is actually not a brand new game, but it's World War Z, which is the first game in the Paramount Pinball line, which I was very excited about because, of course, it's new Zen Pinball. So I got to play it, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't completely in love with it right away. There were some things I didn't necessarily love, like I don't like the playfield itself. It feels too busy with too much artwork, with all the World War Z stuff, and I'm sure it's clear for a reason. I haven't unlocked it yet, but maybe there's some mode where zombies actually get out on the table and they didn't have ramps and stuff backing it up. I haven't played it enough to experience that yet, but from what I have played, this is a pretty good pinball table, good movie tie-in branding, and I'm excited to see what else they do with the Paramount line. Of course, then we have the actual new Williams table, which is Swords of Fury, which is a table I've never heard about. It's an older Williams table, but this thing is absolutely beautiful, plays like a dream, and an excellent addition to the already great Williams lineup of tables through Zen Pinball. I love Swords of Fury. I think you guys will dig it too when you get a chance to check it out if you haven't already. On top of those two excellent brand new games, there's also some other Legacy Williams tables that were added as well as Circus Voltaire, which is a huge favorite of mine, and also Tales of Arabian Nights, which is just the best. Very excited to see them added to this ecosystem. So guys, those are the new tables added to Pinball FX. I'll have some gameplay just in a short minute so you guys can get a better feel for the World War Z table and the Swords of Fury table and see if either of these tables will be tables you're interested in adding to your Pinball FX library. But the big reason I wanted to talk about this is what implications could these new tables have for Arcade1Up. I don't know if you follow John D on Twitter, but he was actually at a licensing expo last week, and he shared this cryptic image. Well, John's cryptic, this is what he does. So for you guys that follow John D, he did put up this GIF of the Paramount logo, and everybody was like, oh my god, what could this mean? Are we getting Indiana Jones arcades? Are we getting Indiana Jones pinball? Which is a possibility, which we'll come back to in a second. But of course, the simplest answer is the easiest one. And as we talked about, with the new Pinball FX, they have a brand new line of movie license tables based on Paramount, with the very first one being World War Z. So perhaps John was there initiating a Paramount pinball table deal that could be coming up. Or he could be doing Indiana Jones. As we know, Williams have already done, or Zen have already done, the Indiana Jones Williams pinball table, so that could be on the Paramount table as well. Who knows? And why, of course, the stuff with John D may be purely speculation. One thing that's not speculation is new Zen pinball games mean more games that could show up on new Arcade1Up tables, and that's the real prognosis I'm making here. So whether it's World War Z, whether it's Swords of Fury, Indiana Jones, the Pinball Adventure, or the new game that they've announced is going to be announced. They've announced the announcement of early June. We could possibly see these show up on the next iteration of Arcade1Up pinball tables. Now, before we go any further on to the next topic, I would like to show you a little bit of gameplay from Swords of Fury and World War Z for you to make up your own mind. Are these tables worthy to be added to your Zen pinball libraries?
Turret ready.
I got eyes on a screamer!
We gotta shut him up! Go get him! There's no way out of here.
Go for the tunnel. Found power 1.
So next up, we're talking a little bit about Sega, and this may be retro console inspired. Anyways, news broke on Saturday from VGC. Sega is announcing a new project next week, and the guest name for the stream suggests it may be a mini console. So if you go in, look up VGC News, there's more information here, them talking about what's coming up, as well as this really ridiculous Genesis controller shaped cake that obviously a child made. I don't know why that's there. Announcing what the announcement is going to be. I don't believe it'll be Sonic related. Anyways, I hope not. It might be, but we kind of get the impression that it might be the next retro mini console from the Sega brand. Now, I'm only going into this in the barest details and giving my brief opinions, but if you want a full detail on what could possibly be announced from Sega, you want to check out a podcast I did with my buddy Console Kits last night on his channel, Console Kits Podcast. What is Sega possibly announcing, and how could it impact Arcade1Up? And we had all kinds of theories, everything out there. Now, the number one prevailing theory is this is possibly the Dreamcast Mini, which is something fans have been craving for years. I myself was an early adopter of the Dreamcast, picking it up on launch day 99.99, and I have some very fond memories of my late teens, early 20s playing this console. And I still have my original console, but I don't necessarily like the way it looks on modern TVs. So I would love to see a first-party branded new Sega Dreamcast Mini console that would be coming out to homes around us right now, play on modern TVs. I personally would go absolutely bananas for that. I don't know if we'll get that lucky, but hopefully that's what the announcement is. Now you're probably saying, Mike, if they are coming out with a Dreamcast Mini, what does that have to do with Arcade1Up? And it's a pretty simple answer. The Dreamcast Mini would require a new emulator, commercial emulator, to be built from whatever team they choose to work on the project, more than likely M2, who also work with Arcade1Up. So if a Dreamcast emulator would work, that goes up to like the Model 3 arcade, and it covers the Model 2 arcade as well. That means a commercial emulator is made for Sega's later arcades. Again, me and Console Kits discussed this on his podcast last night, so you guys can catch up on that. So if they do develop a Dreamcast Mini, that means a commercial emulator can be used by M2 and Sega and Arcade1Up to get Model 2 and Model 3 games working on an Arcade1Up cabinet, provided the chipset can handle it. And like I said on that podcast last night, maybe they can move the pinball PCB over to a home arcade for once, and that should give it sufficient power to run Dreamcast games on their home arcades. Now again, I'm not a scientist, so I can't 100% confirm that Model 2 and Model 3 would work, but if you look at it, games like Virtua Fighter 3 are all running on Dreamcast hardware, so if they can get a commercial Dreamcast emulator working, I'm sure they can figure out how to get Model 2 and Model 3 games working on Arcade1Up with a powerful enough chip. Anyways, guys, that's my quick video for today. We've got some fun news in the retro gaming world. I mean, Zen Pinball are coming out with some excellent stuff, and of course Sega with this big announcement. Please be a Dreamcast Mini. Please don't be the Sega Sonic Arcade1Up cabinet. I don't want that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of the new Zen Pinball releases? Are you going to be picking these up, and would you be excited to see them come to the Arcade1Up in future Arcade1Up pinball releases? What about the Sega announcement? Do you think that I'm out of my mind? It's not going to be a Dreamcast Mini, and it's just going to be something else completely stupid, maybe some kind of Sonic branded chicken nugget at Burger King, who knows. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time.